Hey everybody, Music Power 1103 here, doing a review to Season 4, so hope you like it. Season 4 is narrated by Michael Angelis in the UK and George Carlin in the US, which was produced in 1995, a very special year because it's the year of the 50th anniversary. There are 26 episodes again, and music is composed by Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell. There's a lot of new characters to be introduced in this. The characters are the Scarlet Engines, which are 8 engines. 7 have good roles because the 8th one, Smudger, didn't really appear. He was only turned into a generator. But the 7 narrow gauge engines that appeared were Scarlet, Rheneas, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Rusty, Duncan, and Duke. The first 4 episodes basically talk about Duke, Sir Handel, and Peter Sam. Sir Handel and Peter Sam used to be known as Stuart and Falcon back in the first 4 episodes of Season 4. But then, their names changed. Basically, the first 14 episodes of this season are about the narrow gauge engines. Maybe 15 if you include Rusty to the Rescue, but I'll talk about that later. For the first 14 episodes of Season 4, talk about the narrow gauge engines. In the episode 4 Little Engines, Scarlet Rheneas are there, and that was when Sir Handel and Peter Sam came to join, after their names changed. They used to be called Stuart and Falcon, but now they're as known as Sir Handel and Peter Sam. And then in the episode Rusty Helps Peter Sam, or Trucks, that was when Rusty appeared. Rusty gets the role in the 15th episode of Season 4, which is Rusty to the Rescue, where he saves another character who is introduced in this season, Stepney, the Bluebell Engine. After the first 14 episodes of Season 4, the next 4 episodes of the season basically talk about Stepney, but I'll get to that later. And then the last narrow gauge engine that appears in Duncan in the episode Home at Last. He came as a replacement when Peter Sam had his accident with some trucks, but he is a bouncy engine, an engine who rock and rolls. So, I've talked about the first 14 episodes, how it talks about the narrow gauge engines. The 15th episode of Season 4 is Rusty to the Rescue, which introduces Stepney, the Bluebell Engine, whom Rusty saved from scrap. The same place where Oliver and his brake van Toad were rescued by Douglas. Episodes 15 to 18, which are Rusty to the Rescue, Thomas and Stepney, Train Stops Play, and Bowled Out, talk about Stepney. So, I'd say that Stepney is a good character. It would be nice if he appeared on the show a little bit longer, but I guess that's how it is. And then, more characters are George, the Steamroller. He didn't have much appearances in the television series, though. He's another villain, just like Balgi, who always wants to tear the road apart. There is also Scruffy, who is the leader of trucks. Scruffy is another villain of the show. I didn't like his role because it was bad. Good thing Oliver had to tear him apart. And they also you can hear the trucks laugh in the episode, which is Toad Stands By. Caroline the car is the car who chases after Stepney, so that's another new character who appears. Again, not much to say about her because she doesn't appear that very often. There's also a disobedient barge. His name is Bolstrode. He only had 1 appearance, though. He's, again, a villain of the show. A bad character and a villain. And then another villain in Season 4 who is introduced is the Class 40 Diesel. He is not called by name in the episode, though, but Bowler, his real name is actually Bowler, I don't really like this character at all because he's so rude. Good thing that he had to leave the railway. Like, no one wanted him. They only had him on for one episode and then get rid of him. This is also the only series in which Bolstrode, the Class 40 Diesel, and Smudger appear. This is also the episode where Duke appears physically, but I'll talk about that later. The firsts about this season, this is the first season to feature the Scarlet Railway. Like I said, I already talked about it, so I won't say anything more about it. This is the first series with no Christmas-themed episode at all of the season. Birdie doesn't have a speaking role in this season. Bill, Ben, Diesel, Harold, Terrence, and Trevor appear in only one episode each of this whole season. The onlys about this season are that Terrence isn't referred to by name. Duke appears physically, excluding two things. One, his Season 5 portrait, and two, his cameos in Season 7. As well as this is the only series before Season 10 in which Sir Handel appears, but I'll talk about that when we get to Season 10. And this is the only series where there is no episode in which James is the main character. And there are a few finals about this season. Number 1, this is the final series to be narrated by George Carlin due to him changing his career before his death in 2008. This is the last season to have name boards for the characters in the episode sequences. No more characters after this season have their name boards. And this is the last series where Daisy appears in an episode until Season 19, which is only a cameo. But if you exclude her cameo, then it's not until Season 20. The television series also touched its 100th episode, which is Thomas and the Special Letter. And in this series, this is the first series where the first 14 episodes, like I said earlier, are put into one story arc, and it's the longest story arc of the whole series. This is all I have to say, and thanks for watching.